Every preacher reads this, and I don't know how they get away with telling anybody the law was nailed to the cross is done away with. He says, whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches men so shall be called least in the kingdom of the heavens, but whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the kingdom of the heavens. Now, let me clarify something. This is 1 Steve chapter 4, verse 3, okay? This isn't anywhere in Scripture. It's my opinion. Because people will read this verse and think that you can skate your way by the skin of your teeth into the kingdom.
Think about it now.
I think that's a complete lie that's going to get you just to end up out of the kingdom. There's no skating in, because I've had people say, well, you know I break a few commandments here and there, but it's okay if I'm the least as long as I'm in.
Think about it.
I don't think that verse has anything to do with that. I think this verse has to do with how the people in the kingdom will be talking about those who did these two things. In the kingdom, when people talk about those who taught against Torah, they will be considered the least among people. In the kingdom, when people talk about those who taught the law and taught the Torah observance and taught Yeshua in his fullness, they will be considered great by those in the kingdom. That's what I think verse 19 is about. You don't have to agree with me. But it makes no sense that a little leaven doesn't leaven the whole lump. When you break one Torah command, you break them all. Those verses just get thrown away because you can break some of them, and as long as you don't break too many, you can still be in the kingdom and be least. Those who teach against the Torah observance are going to be in the kingdom? I don't think so. Because then that goes against like half of the book. Okay? Not that the other half isn't against it, but the other half talks about other things. But this book talks about so much about if you're teaching against, if you're against the Father's stuff, you're just not getting in. I'm sorry. Don't be deceived. So it says here, whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches men so, teaches them to break it, they're not going to be in. You could say I'm making stuff up and I'm changing the law and changing the words and messing with the Scripture. Look, many men over the centuries have done enough messing with it, so I'm going to try to mess with it back into place. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. Verse 20, for I say to you that unless your righteousness, what do we say that righteousness is? Torah observance defines righteousness. Unless your Torah observance exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall by no means enter into the kingdom of the heavens. So now he's going to tell you what that looks like. Well, how can we do more than the Pharisees and the Sadducees? This is how.